What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here helping you take your game to the next level. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you all the different ways that you can use cover 2 to absolutely shut down offenses in Madden 18. Now, if this is your first time checking out one of my videos and you want to improve your Madden game, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Make sure to hit the bell icon so that you join the notification squad and never miss an upload. So what's up, guys? Like I said, in today's video I'm going to be showing you all the different variations of cover 2 and the different ways you can set it up to absolutely shut down any offense in Madden 18. I've done a lot of defensive videos this year. I've shown a lot of different variations of cover 2. I'm going to include those in this video and a couple of new variations as well. Basically, just want to show you guys how versatile the cover 2 defense is. It's probably the most versatile coverage shell in the game. You can do so much with it. Adjusted so many different weird ways to throw your opponent off or to specifically stop something that they're trying to run on you. I cover a lot of these, not all of the ones I'm going to show here because I've got some new ones, but I cover a lot of these, but also I do the same thing with other coverages in my defensive ebook that I dropped a while back. So basically what I'm going to show you with cover 2 in the ebook, I show you that with cover 3, cover 4 as well as how to stop all the popular stuff in the game. So if you haven't checked that out yet, the link will be in the description and in the comments. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So Tampa 2, it's just so versatile this year. And there's so many ways to set it up. Like, you never want to just run it like this, like stock, because one of the main weaknesses is obviously the deep middle of the field where both safeties are. You know, stuff like deep post routes, very easy to abuse this defense if you leave it like this. Also, if you send a lot of high-low reads at the cloud flats, usually you can dominate there unless you're playing mud and everybody just got the most souped-up secondary in the world. Then it's a little bit harder. But so we're going to start with some basic stuff and then get to some more advanced stuff. So the most basic way to set cover 2 up this year that is just really simple is you want to take the mid read, you want to put him in a deep middle. So to do this, you have to base align the defense first, which is wire triangle and then right on the left stick. You have to base align. Then you get your middle linebacker, you press A or X depending on which system you're on, and then up on the left stick. So now you're taking care of the deep post going down the deep middle. This guy will run down there and cover that. This is how a Tampa 2 plays more so in real life. This guy is going to drop further back, whereas in Madden a lot of times he stays too shallow. Now, after you do this, what's a good thing to do is you want to take one of your defensive linemen and drop them back into a spy, which is A or X and then left on the right stick. And a lot of people refer to this, I think, in the NFL as like ratting the hole coverage, or something like that. So basically, where this linebacker is vacating and dropping back, now that shallow middle, no one's there to guard that. So that's what we get by putting the spy here. He'll drop back and sit about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and just kind of play over that middle area. So if someone tries to throw a quick drag or a quick slant route, he'll be there. He probably won't pick it off because he's a defensive lineman, but he'll bat the pass down. He'll make it harder for the wide receiver to catch it. And if your QB decides to run, you have a spy that can watch him. And then from here, you would just use either of these hook zones. If you're a guy that's comfortable using, you would use either Wagner right here or right, either one. And you want to just kind of stay in your area and roam right there, and just anything that comes into your area is your job. So this is a real basic way to run it. We'll watch it unfold. So you see how I tried to throw the quick pass there to the running back, and the defensive tackle went for the pick. He dropped it, of course, because he is a defensive tackle. Sometimes he'll catch it, but don't, always expect it. But that's what I really wanted to show right there was, had we not dropped that defensive tackle there, if you notice right where Devontae Freeman is, that whole area would have been wide open if we didn't drop him back there. And you see how number 47, the middle linebacker, he's running deep with the tight end. If we didn't put him right there, that tight end would have been wide open most likely down the seam for a touchdown. So you see the two things we did on this play to actually, if we would have left it normal, we would have been able to hit that tight end down the seam, or if we would have only put the middle linebacker in the deep blue, we would have been able to hit the running back. But those two adjustments took both of those away. We tried to throw to the running back, and the defensive tackle was there to make a play on it. And then, of course, you have your high-low on both outside. You have your cloud flat and your deep zones defending the sidelines. So that's one basic way that you can set up cover 2 that's really nice. Another underrated way to set up cover 2 that a lot of people don't know about, this is one I covered a little bit earlier this year. So what you want to do is, you want to always, I like to always base align first. So again, that's wire triangle right on the left stick. Then you want to shade underneath, which is Y or triangle down on the right stick. So now we're playing underneath. So you see we have hard flats on the outside now, but we don't want to keep those hard flats there. We're playing underneath because we basically want these hook zones to play aggressive. So if someone's throwing a lot of drag routes or stuff like that on us, or short, shallow routes, normally these hook zones will drop a little bit deeper, but by telling the defense to play underneath, they're going to stay home and they're not going to let anything short come under them. But what you want to do is you want to go to the outside cornerbacks and re-put them into cloud flats, because we don't want them playing hard flats, because if they stay in a hard flat, we're too vulnerable to getting beat deep down the sideline. So you go to your cornerbacks, you press A or X down on the left stick, you hurry up, cycle to the other cornerback, press A or X down on the left stick. So now they're in cloud flats. So the only people who are playing underneath now are going to be the linebackers. Your cornerbacks are going to still play deep like they're supposed to. And in this scenario, you want to user this middle linebacker. So now in this scenario, this area of the field is on you. If you want to drop back one of these guys into a spy, you can do that as well. And then it's pretty much the same coverage we just had, except now those outside linebackers are going to play really, really aggressively. And then we can drop back right here. So for example, let's go ahead and we'll put Y on a drag here. So let's go ahead and try to throw this. And you see how that linebacker was all over it there, how Bobby Wagner was all over that. If we didn't play underneath, that drag would have got open for maybe 5 yards. But because we shaded underneath, watch how it stays down. Instead of dropping back, it says, okay, I see a drag. I'm supposed to play underneath, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm on offense here, so yes, the tight end's streaking wide open there. But if I was playing defense, this guy, number 47, I would be running deep with the tight end. That's who you want to use when you set up the defense this way. So that's your responsibility. But anything short, these outside linebackers are going to clamp down on it. You have that spy over the shallow middle, and then you see, boom, this linebacker clamps down, locks that up. Your outsides are still taken care of. You see Julio's bracketed there. If we try to throw that, Earl Thomas is going to go over there and pick that off. So he's taken care of. So again, just to show one more time, you want to base a line, shade underneath, go put your outside guys back in cloud flats. You can put this guy in a spy if you want, and then with this linebacker in the middle, the mid-read, this is your area. You want to drift right here. If anything comes deep, you're on it. If there's no deep route, then you stay low. So that's another way to set up cover 2. Another great way to set up cover 2 is using the technique called double flatting. This is really good against people that like to run a lot of gun bunch. So let me actually audible into gun bunch really quick. This is really good against people that like to run gun bunch. So what you do when you double flat is you want to take your 2 outside yellow zones and you want to put them in hard flat. So we'll come over here, press A or X, left on the left stick, he's in a hard flat. Come over to this linebacker, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be this linebacker. You can take this guy right here that's rushing if you want to do that, or if you want to keep 4 people rushing, then you want to put this guy in the hard flat. If you're okay with only having 3 people rushing, which is normally what I do when I run this, I'll go put this guy in the hard flat. But it's up to you, either or. If you feel like you need 4 people rushing because it gives you better pressure, then instead you can leave him blitzing and you can put this guy right here into the hard flat instead. Up to you. And then of course you user this guy in the middle. Now the thing with this defense is you have a lot more responsibility with your user. You have to cover all of this ground yourself, and that can be difficult for some people. So this is a little bit more advanced. But what this works really good with is defending those high-low reads that people like to do with bunch. So for example, if I put Hooper on a drag here and I'm trying to create a high-low on the left. I have the C route to Julio Jones, and I have the drag to Hooper. A normal cover 2, I'd be able to hit the drag underneath. But what happens now is if I try to hit the drag, nope, we got this guy all over it. He dropped the ball. Even if he caught it, he would have gained a yard. But if we go look at Julio Jones up here, Julio Jones was covered by the cloud flat. The cloud flat right here had him cut off, and this guy had him cut off. Now, why do we use this against bunch? Because with some bunch plays, you have the same thing happening on the opposite side of the field. So with a play like corner strike, you have the high-low on both sides of the field. So that's why you want to double flat, because you can take it away from both outsides. Whereas Against other formations, you don't need to use that technique as much. Against gun bunch is really the only time I use that, because that's the formation that people like to have. You know, they'll have a C route on the left with a flat, and then they'll have the corner route on the right with a flat, and it's hard to defend both. But if you use that double flat technique, usually you'll only have to worry about one guy coming over the middle, and you can take care of both outsides with that setup. So we're going to look at another. This is a little harder to set up, but this is pretty much playing a cover 2 invert style. So this is a little harder to set up, a little bit more advanced. A lot of people might not be able to set this up, but for the people that are advanced, you'll probably like this. So what you do is you go to the outside cornerback, put him in a deep half. So A or X, right on the right stick, he's in a deep half. Then you go to your safeties. You want to put them into curl flats. So A or X, you could see curl flat on the screen is right on the left stick. We go to the other safety, same thing, A or X, right on the left stick. And then to our last cornerback, we want to put him in a deep half, A or X, right on the right stick. And then you want to shade underneath, because we want him in hard flats. We don't want him in the curl flats, but you can't like hot route them into hard flats. You have to put them in curl flats and then shade your defense underneath. Again, to shade your defense underneath, it's wire triangle down on the right stick. So now we have a cover 2 invert. Then you can go take your mid read, put him in his deep zone, because we still need to worry about the deep middle. And then again, if you want that short over the middle coverage, you can go put a guy in a spy. This is optional. And then you use, one of these hook zones. Now, why this is good is because it's really just giving your opponent a different look. A lot of teams do this in real life, playing an inverted cover 2. It can confuse opponents. They'll think a lot of times, off the snap, it looks like a cover 3. But the safeties in hard flats play really, really, really well this year, especially if you have 91 zone guys. Like a guy like Earl Thomas, for example, he'll probably get down to this flat route on Gabriel pretty quick. Watch. If we try to throw this flat route to Gabriel, look, pick 6. And that's ridiculous, right? Because he has 91 zone. That's how good safeties in hard flats can play. And look how far away he was. Look, he's what? A good about 15 yards away, and look how quick he gets to his spot. We're trying to throw this flat, boom, it's over, it's going the other way. Like, that's what you get by inverting your cover 2. It's another really great way to play cover 2. Now, one more way I want to show you is, this is something I use out of Dollar. I go over a lot of this in the ebook, but I'm going to show some basic variations. I don't have Dollar in this playbook, but I have Big Dime 236 Sam, which is similar, and the play is DB Fire too. So again, I go over this in the ebook way more in depth, but I'm going to show you a quick little, some stuff you could do with this. So this is a cool play with cover 2, because you can play a lot of hybrid coverage with it. So first off, you want a base line always. Again, wire triangle right on the left stick. With this particular defense, I like to shade up because I don't want soft squats. I want cloud flats. So I'd go wire triangle up on the right stick. Now I have cloud flats. So now these two blitzing guys, they're like pretty much freebies. You can do whatever you want with them. So one simple way to play hybrid is you can man these guys up. So I can go ahead and man him up on Y, and then I can go over here, man this guy up on the tight end, or if I'm afraid the running back's going to leak out, I can man him up on the running back. Pretty much whatever, but I'd probably man him up on the tight end. So in this instance, I know no seam route can hurt me because I have him manned up. Now to man people up, if you don't know, you press A or X, then you have to press up on the right stick, and then you select the icon of who you want to man up. And so we want to man up the tight end, so we're going to press A. Boom. Now, optional if you want, you can drop this guy in a deep blue if you want, but because in this scenario I have both of the guys in the seam already manned up, I don't really necessarily need them to be in a deep blue, so I'll just leave him in the mid read and probably just user him. And then again, just the middle of the field is my responsibility. So see, okay, I got Devontae Freeman, he's passed off. There's just really nowhere to throw the ball now. Everything's locked up there, as you saw. Both, the tight end went up the seam route, he was manned up. I had the guy over the middle. We'll go to the replay. It's just a different way to play cover 2. You're mixing man and zone. It really can confuse your opponent. You see the tight end, he's manned up, he's taken care of. This flat route was manned up, he's taken care of. I'm using Freeman, and then I pass him off to the other linebacker. You see Earl Thomas back here has Julio if we try to throw to him. And you see Sherman right here all over Sanu. locked up. So that's another creative way that you can use cover 2 using a hybrid coverage. So those are all the different variations of cover 2. A lot of fun ways you can use it and just mix it up. That's a really big thing, is constantly mixing up your coverages. Even if your opponent sees, you know, and you're playing online, he sees previous plays, oh, this guy keeps running cover 2. That doesn't mean you're running the same cover 2. You don't want to keep running the same old cover 2. Mix it up. Use these different variations to trick your opponent. He thinks, okay, every time he's running cover 2, I'm able to hit him with the drags. Well, you could do the shade underneath, the second variation I showed you, and then you might get a pick 6. Like, you have to just change up the way you're using your coverages. You don't have to use just the plain Jane stock cover 2 every play. So I hope this opened your eyes, and this is something you can carry into Madden 19. This isn't going to change. All of these tactics, these are just coverage tactics. You can carry this into Madden 19, Madden 20. These things are going to work for years. It's not just relevant for this year. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.